Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Destiny Bell, and I am your host with the beautiful.
I'm Crystal, and welcome to the show today.
All right, sorry for the alarm. So today we are going to get into something real juicy, kind of spicy, depending on where we go with the conversation. It's going to be about relationships and friendships, and everybody has their own definition when it comes to both. But before we continue, we have to introduce our lovely guest so she can weigh in.
Yes, we have our guest today. She's just joining the conversation, just having a little girls' chat. Kenya, let me bring her on.
Can you
Oh,
Okay.
wait.
Hey,
Oh, there she go.
yeah.
There we go. Hi, everyone. I'm Kenya Dejanay. I'm an intern with EGMG Elevation Global Media Group. I'm a graduating senior at Morgan State University. Go Bears. So, yeah, I'm in a relationship, so I think I can weigh in.
Okay, period.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kenya, for joining and wanting to be a part of this conversation. So before we jump into the conversation, like Destiny said, everybody have a different definition for a friend. So typically, well, for today, we're going to be discussing friendship versus relationship. What's the difference, or even if there is a difference? So let's jump right
Who
into
wants
it.
to go first?
Well, I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts.
Yo, me too. So you go first, and then hopefully it'll make mine a little smaller.
Okay. So I feel like every relationship or every friendship is a relationship,
Okay,
but not every
period.
relationship is a friendship, if you know what I
Uh,
mean. So, like with me and mine, I like to have a friendship established before I have that relationship aspect. And the difference is kind of like the intensity of it all.
mhm.
Like, me and my boyfriend, we were best friends before we ever got together. And
Aw.
I think now it's just our best friendship intensified. Like, I tell him everything, we do everything together, we're very close. But at the end of the day, I know that I can come home and I can say, like, hey, I just need my friend today. Like, I don't need you to look at it from a boyfriend perspective because that changes the dynamic. But I
That's
think you should be able to be like, hey, pause. I just need my friend today. Like, I don't need you to be macho man on go. Just relax. So
Mhm.
I would say the intensity.
I like that, and I definitely agree as far as having that friendship before jumping into that relationship. But defined friendship.
Mm. Me?
Any Destiny
Oh
could
well, I can define friendship. I was just waiting. So, to be a friend, or at least an ideal friend, is someone that is dependable. You can call on them. You can show them your good and bad side. But when they see the bad side, you stick around. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I always tell people, just because I go to class with you and I talk to you outside of class doesn't mean you're my friend. Because you haven't shown me enough of your negative or your flaws for me to know if I want to stay. If I stay, that means I'm a friend because I'm willing to work with you or just deal with it because you can't change anything about everybody. But that's how I look at a friend. But I also do believe that certain friends are for certain things. Like I can say I do have friends where I don't think they're as reliable, but then I do have friends that can be my confidants too. So I think that there's different levels to friendship, but a friend should be, in my eyes, I guess platonic too. There's not like I guess like a sexual attraction or romantic. and then we're in a relationship, which I am not in. So it's just a different standpoint to me. But I do like how Kenya said you need to be both, because I think that's when you get to learn about a person genuinely.
Okay.
I
Yeah, I
feel
agree. Now, as I was looking up this topic, I came across something, and it was like there are three different types of friends or friendships, shall I say. Now, you
okay.
have your confidants, your constituents, and um, comrades. So, confidant, of course, you guys know that is the
Yeah.
person that rock with you, ride or die, down for you for whatever. Don't judge you. Don't look at you if you make, crazy decisions, and will stand beside you. The constituents are not necessarily loyal to you personally, but they do share an allegiance with your mission or cause. So that means they only your friend when y'all down for the same thing. But if you have a different opinion, they're gonna go their separate
I don't
ways.
like them type friends.
They feel like, yeah, they feel like, I feel like those are the type of friends that are in your life for a reason, because everybody in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
Yeah.
So those type of people are in your life for a season. If you need them, well, not necessarily need them, but they are by your side when um if you're going through something. But once you two are not on the same page, they gone on about their business finding another friend.
Hmm.
um
Mm.
and the comrades are individuals who are not for you or your cause, but are against what you are against. So if you are against something,
Oh,
then they are with you because they are against the same thing. So it's
like the
like,
girls that don't like you and then they become friends because they don't
exactly.
like you.
Exactly. So you are in a friendship, but just because just because you don't like somebody, you go to their friends to try to get
Mhm.
them to not like them. And that's crazy. That's what causes the high school drama type of
Right.
friendships. So let's give me your thoughts and opinions on those three types of friendships. Have y'all ever had all three, or do you have, like, talk to me. What's on your mind?
I've definitely had all three.
Oh,
Um,
you had some haters with the car reds, right?
Hello, like really bad, like really bad. It's kind of crazy. Um, One thing people always say, because I'm a very like, I would say I'm an ambivert. So like when I am in crowds, I can be extroverted. So a lot of people tend to be like, "Oh, Kenya, you have a lot of friends. Oh, you have so many friends." I don't. I have a few friends. I have a few friends and a lot of acquaintances. I have
Okay.
people that I know, and I have people that in certain situations we can turn up together. In certain situations we can be cool. But you will never see me hitting your line to be close. What was the first one? Not comrades, not constituents, confidants.
Confident.
You'll never see me hitting your line to be a confidant. I'm not gonna be a comrade because I'm just not fake like that. And we might be constituents. Sometimes that's just how it goes. Like, okay, you're down for it. You like this class, I like this class. But
Right.
outside of
Mm,
class, we don't have anything in common,
no
you know?
talk.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but you just can't call everybody your friend. There are subgenres to friendship, and then there are acquaintances, and there are subgenres to acquaintances. And I think as I've gotten older, that's where I've really learned that, because before everybody was just my friend. It's not really until you go through things with people and you
Yeah.
really see people's true colors that you understand, okay, here's where you might fit into my life, here's where you don't fit into my life, and I'm gonna keep you separate.
Right. How about you, Destiny? You look like you got something to say.
I just
Doesn't
was thinking like not everybody's my friend, and I am like when you were describing yourself about an ambivert, that's what I'm gonna start telling people, because I am a social butterfly, But my
Mm-hmm.
social battery, it runs
Social
out.
meter.
Sometimes I can mask it and sometimes I can't. People,
Mm-hmm.
the way I mask it is either I get quiet at the end of the night and people think I have an attitude. No, girl, I'm just tired and I don't want to talk no more. Or it's just like I'm the type of person where I can go into the room on campus and I'll be like, "Oh, hey girl, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. I like your shoes," and I just start talking. But I'm talkative. I'm very loquacious. But that doesn't mean that me and you are homegirls now because I talk to you in class. And people mistake, like, don't tell your mother I'm your friend because she might not even see me next week.
Hello.
I hate when people do that. It's one of my biggest like icks because don't sit there and you call me your friend and I don't call you my friend. My mother don't know you exist, so why do you do that? But I'm very picky when it comes to calling someone my friend because I have wonderful friends. A standard is set, and I don't know if you meet it yet, so I'm not going to call you that.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way to put it. That standard.
Yeah, that definitely is, and that's what I was gonna go into as far as do you guys think that people use the term best friend loosely? Because they'd be like, oh yeah, that's my best friend. Just because you've known somebody for 20 or 30 years and y'all talked, y'all kept in touch and talked on not necessarily every day, but y'all talked on a regular basis and y'all known each other, grew up together, would you still say, "Oh yeah, that's my best friend," just because you grew up together, or how would y'all? What's your thoughts on the best term, best friend?
I feel like I've definitely been one to like use the term best friend very loosely until I got older. But one thing I've more recently noticed is that somebody can treat you the best and somebody can be like your best friend, and you might not be their best friend. Like, when you really break down the words, like I have a homeboy that I'm super duper close to. Like I call him like my brother or whatever. When I'm talking about best friends, his name don't ever come up. It does not come up. But when I think about, okay, who's there for me at the drop of a dime? Who can I call and cry to? Who can I call and laugh with? His name comes up. So in actuality, he will probably be my best friend. But for some reason my brain just doesn't like automatically go, that's your bestie, you know? And I think it's because although the sentiment is mutual, we've never called each other best friends. I don't talk to him every day. We don't call each other often, but I know when you need me, I'm there, and if I need you, you're here, you know? But like, you can't call everybody your best friend because at the end of the day, people hide skeletons in their closet for years that you may never see. That if you did see, you wouldn't necessarily want to be friends with them. They might not really be showing you their true colors until something goes down, and now you feel worse than you needed to feel because you put a title on somebody who didn't deserve it.
No, I agree with that one.
I definitely agree. And then you said something about you know, you don't necessarily, the guy friend doesn't necessarily come to mind when you saying best friend,
Hmm.
but you do consider him a good friend, like a best friend. Because I feel like a friend is somebody that, like you said, you can go to when you need him. If
Hmm.
you got a shoulder to cry on, and they there for you, and then they show up for you and celebrate you for, like, major events that's happening in your life. Like you said, your best friend. You may not talk every day,
Yup.
but you still have that connection. So even though y'all ain't talked in a month or so, but when y'all do talk, it's like the
And
conversation.
that's exactly how it is. I could call him right now and be like, yo, I got a show tomorrow at 9 a.m. I could call everybody. Nobody show up. He going to be in the front row. And
That's
he'll give me crap about it. Like, really, Kenya? Why would you tell me
All right,
something?
but I got a question before you keep going on because here's
Go
my
ahead.
thing with this. I don't trust the whole idea of brother and sister because people be lying and
I
you're in
have
a
something
relationship,
on
so I
that
don't
too. I
expect you to
do.
be too like whatever. But y'all know that SZA lyrics, she be like, they like brother and sister, look so good together, but they messing with each other for real.
Yeah, huh?
And they was right. I have seen too many girls. They be like, "That's my brother."
Okay,
Why you
I can
put your
weigh in
brother
on that
too?
for real. I can weigh in on that for real.
So that ties in. You can weigh in on that, Kenya, real quick, but that ties into if you are in a relationship, would
Mhm.
you allow your significant other to have a friend of the opposite sex? So that's just like, can a female have a male best friend and you be okay with it, or can a male have a female best friend and they be okay with it? Now go ahead, Kenya, what you was gonna say.
Absolutely. I think that's absolutely. I think in a mature relationship, that can happen. Because if you know that I'm for you and I know that you're for me, homegirl being your friend should not matter. Because if it's just friendship, then it's just friendship. Like, my boyfriend knows, he knows my besties, he knows everybody like that I consider very close friends. I know his very close friends. So I'm not I'm not tripping if you're gonna go hang out with the girl you call your sis or whatever. Now, the guy that I call my brother, right? We really are like because we're really close family friends. Like, my mom and his dad are like brother and sister. So we like went through high school, being real cool and everything. So no, like that's that. Now, the way me and my boyfriend got together, right? We were listen, we were really close, like best friends. Like, dad would call each other best friends, like, oh, that's the bro, that's the sis, whatever. Call you all the time. Never in a million years did we ever think that we would be where we are now.
So how
It
y'all
just
get
kind
there?
of like it was like one day we kind of both noticed, like, okay, this might not have to be the platonic friendship that it was. And we kind of had that we had the same mentality at the same time, so it wasn't like an awkward phase. It wasn't like a weird, like, I don't know, because we were supposed to just be friends type of situation. Like, we both were in a position where I like you, you like me, so what's up? That
Period.
is such an anomaly in my life. Such an anomaly in my life, because I do have guy friends, but those guy friends I don't look at the same way. It kind of just happened. So I do trust the whole like bro sis thing. I just think we happen to happen. I just think it just fell in my lap.
So, Destiny, you already said that you don't trust that
I don't
whole
trust it.
cis or
I don't trust it.
okay, so wait, let me ask you this. Wait, Kenya, how old are you?
21.
And Destiny, how old are you?
I'm 21, but I turned 22 on Monday.
Okay,
Okay.
so the reason I asked that is because Kenya, when you said something about a mature relationship or friendship, and it's not, I don't want to say that Destiny, you don't trust it because you might have insecurities or something like that, but that can happen sometimes. That's why
Mhm.
some people don't trust
Trust
that
it.
male best friend, or they either you don't trust the person that you're with,
Mhm.
or you don't trust the fact that they will, well, that's the same thing. You don't trust the
Or you
person
don't
that
trust
you're
the
with.
person that they call.
Let me
Right.
tell y'all something. I feel like something about a woman's intuition, one,
I
that
was gonna
thing
say
don't
that.
lie.
Mm-mm.
So usually when somebody feels some type of way, if she's not an insecure woman, that is literally intuition, something divine. So
Mm.
that's something to consider. But then I also look at men, because yes, I have homeboys that are my age and they act like they're 12. But I also talk to older men, like just in conversation sometimes, whether it's at work or social events. 9 times out of 10, if an opportunity presents itself, they're gonna take it with a woman. So I don't necessarily blame the women for all of it, but a lot of it has to do with men, because if you can look at that girl best friend and that boy, and let's say y'all arguing and he already not loyal, and that girl give him a place to stay that night, Do you think he's gonna be loyal to you? And if you can't 100% say, "Oh, that's my man, he's gonna be loyal to me," and believe that in your heart, it's a problem.
But I feel like I feel like if you're really cool with that friend, like say I
Mhm.
have a guy friend, I do have guy friends that like this conversation has literally like come up. We can have that conversation like it would never be me and you. Like I want you to know that this will never happen. Like that's and even if it's a joking conversation, but I think if it's a truly solid platonic friendship, that conversation probably has come up, or
Right.
that conversation probably will come up about other women or other guys. Like we're cool. Like I have one friend, I hang out with him all the time. We're really cool, we're really close because we both do the same type of work and everything, and we're in a lot of classes together. We have had that conversation where it's like that'll never happen.
But that don't mean that it's true because you didn't think you was gonna be with your current.
That's true. We never had that conversation.
Okay, true.
We have
So,
never had
so
that conversation.
since we talking about the whole relationship thing, define relationship, because when you think about it, you have every a friendship is a relationship technically. So it's different stages to relationships. You have your relationship with your family, your mother, sister, cousin, aunt, brother, whoever. And then you have, like I said, friendship is a relationship. So you have that type of relationship with your friend. And then you have a relationship which is with your significant other, which of
Mhm.
course involves the romantic intimacy and all that good stuff. So, what is a relationship?
Like a romantic one?
All of it in a whole, like a relationship in general.
I feel like a relationship is a bond that has its ups and downs and it's work. It's nothing
Definitely.
steady. Because your relationship with your mother, your father, is not steady. With your friends, it's not steady. I'm not saying it's always bad or anything negative, but it's
But
something.
friends have disagreements.
Yeah.
I agree.
Mhm. It's just something that it's a relationship to me is a bond that requires work. If I'm not willing to work with you, we don't have no type of relationship. You just exist.
Okay.
Really think about it
Okay.
like that. I feel like I look at relationships from such a sociological standpoint. So like when you ask what a relationship is, my automatic thinking is just like how you interact with somebody. Like Crystal and I have a relationship because we work together. Me and my boyfriend have a relationship that's completely different than any relationship that I have with anyone else because it's, you know, no one else is going to have that place. I have a relationship, excuse me, with some of my classmates, but it's not a strong relationship. And then there are some that I'm friends with, which counts as a stronger relationship, a stronger bond. So for me, I just look at it as like every encounter with someone establishes a relationship, whether it's a stranger, whether it's somebody I've known for 21 years, no matter what, I have some type of relationship with someone if I interact with them. But now the tiers that you can be at the lowest totem pole on that relationship because you're a stranger, or you could be at the top because you are family. So
Right.
it's really just how you interact with people for me.
I agree with both of you guys. Like Destiny, you said that bond is actually I definitely agree with that. And then having that different, that's why I say it's different stages in relationship,
Mhm.
because Kenya, like you said, you and your boyfriend had that friendship first, which turned into a romantic relationship. And then when you having that relationship with your family, of course your family is your family. So some people don't have that close relationship with their family, but thank God that I do. But I was just thinking about, having that bond, and being able to be that person that your family or your significant other can look to for encouragement and support and things like that. Excuse
I do
me.
have a question, y'all.
Yes.
Mhm.
So, what expectations do y'all have when it comes to maintaining friendships and like a relationship with your partner? I can't answer the second one.
You
I don't
can answer
know.
what
I
your expectations would be.
would
I
be
feel like
okay.
you could, yeah. Even if you're not in a relationship, you can talk about you have standards. You have standards. You have boundaries. So that counts as your expectations.
Okay. Yo, somebody told me earlier, they were like, tell me the difference between the expectation and the standard. So I don't know, maybe that would be something good to tap into.
The
Um,
difference between an expectation and a standard.
I said a standard is something that, well, at least to me, what I would think a standard is something that you would tell someone, like,
Mm-hmm.
this is what point ABC, and to
Mm-hmm.
be with me, this is what you need to do. If you don't, whatever. Like, kind of like a non negotiable. And then an expectation is something that I would view as more of a mental thing that not always spoken, but it exists, and then it doesn't arise until someone meets it or doesn't meet it.
Mm-hmm. I never
okay.
thought about it like that,
Yeah.
but I would agree with that. I would. I never thought about it, but I would agree with that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Now, to answer your questions, like what do I expect and from a friend?
Mhm.
So me, I would expect that friend, like we've been saying all day, to be loyal, be there to support me through everything. Like, especially if it's a friend that I've had for
Yes.
since high school or even since elementary school, middle school, whatever. I would expect that person to be there through every step. Like, okay, we grew up together. So you, especially if they know my family, you know my family, you've been around my family. So graduation, you there. We supporting each other. Graduating from college, graduating from high school. When I have kids or when you have kids, bring our kids together. Now that's the type of bond or friendship that I would want. Somebody that I can count on if I'm going through a situation. I'm on my last dollar and me and my daughter hungry. I want to be able to have that friend that I can call and say, "Hey," and not judge me or look at me like, "What you doing with your money?" or something like that.
Yeah.
So having that type of friend that I can call that has my back through everything and everything. So, a relationship, what I expect in a relationship. So I expect the same thing from a relationship, but on a greater scale, I guess,
Mhm.
because especially if we are together, then we're spending time together, being intimate and possibly sleeping next to each other. So it's like if I'm sleeping next to you, then you need to be that same friendship, but on a greater scale, because
Yeah.
it's like we sharing like lives together pretty much.
Yeah.
So I would want that would be my expectation. The support, the encouragement, whenever I'm down, being able to know my um moods, like, oh, she in a mood, let me leave her alone, or she like, let me just give her 5 minutes and then come back to the conversation, or whatever the case may be. So that's what I would expect.
Mm. I feel like a lot of my expectations in friendships and in relationships are the same, but like Crystal said, it's on a greater scale. If you can't show up for me and I ask you to, just let
Period.
me know. I need the communication, I need the understanding. Like, I a biggest pet peeve of mine is saying you're gonna do something and not doing it, especially if I didn't ask you to do it.
Oh,
In my in my relationships of all kind, if you say you're gonna do something for me, do it, and do it when you say you're gonna do it, because that makes you a reliable person in general. Like, beyond the friendship, beyond the relationship, you're a reliable person, and I see that, and I can feel that, I can relate to that, and now we can move on further. um I am big on love languages. in like both my relationship and my friendships. Like,
Yeah.
do
Period.
we know each other, and do we know each other's love languages well
Definitely.
enough to really thrive? Like, I want to be loved in my languages, and I want to love you in yours, so that we can come to an understanding, come to a ground where we can actually grow. I need somebody, friendship, relationship, I need somebody who is going to cultivate a space for me to grow as a person, as an artist, as a woman, as whatever I am. Like, I need somebody who's going to help me grow. So like, in terms of like my relationship, my boyfriend is always supporting me. He's always telling me like, okay, I know you don't feel like it, but here's what needs to be done. Here's, if you're trying to make it to this place in your life, you got to start at this place.
Right.
Somebody who's actually going to propel me forward, because I don't like stagnancy in my life. I don't like being stagnant. I don't like feeling like I'm never going anywhere. So that's like the biggest thing for me.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
somebody to,
Somebody. I'm sorry, I ain't mean to cut you off.
no, no, no.
Somebody that is going to push you
Mhm.
Yes.
to your potential. Somebody that sees more in you than you see in
See
yourself.
yourself.
So
Okay.
Yes.
that too, that right there, Kenya.
Push me, but know when to push me to be better, but also
Dial it down because I can have a
know when
rest
to validate,
day.
and know when to listen to me when I say I've reached my limit. If I said I've reached my limit, don't continue to keep. Well, you need to do what you need to do. I reached my limit.
Right.
Like, in all relationships, I think it's so important to set boundaries. Like, boundaries
Definitely.
are
Definitely.
like number one. So somebody who respects them is like, hats off to you. You're a good person. You're a good person to be in whatever relationship with.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Boundaries is a big thing in relationships, especially when it comes to family relationships.
Yeah. And I'm
Especially,
just learning this recently.
yeah, family relationships is where I think boundaries are the most important. Well, it's important in all relationships, but as far as family wise, because if you're in a relationship with someone, intimate romantic relationship with someone, your family, just because you're in a relationship with your family, they
Mm.
don't need to know every step, everything that goes on in your
But who
household. So
comes
they don't need to
first?
know your business. And that goes for your friends too. So
Right.
that's like where that boundary, that don't cross that line. Like, listen, this is what's happening here, and our relationship or friendship is different. So we, need to not cross those boundaries.
So
Which,
in that relationship, when it comes to like, your parents and your partner, who comes first? Because I was just at work and we was going back and forth with one of my coworkers because we like, all right, you got your parent, your mother, your wife, your kid. Who comes first? And he said his mother. And they were on his neck
you
about it.
saw my face
Because
change.
I was just like, your wife doesn't come before your mother. And as a young person, I used to be like, oh, how could you ever put someone above the person that raised you? But honestly, if you become sick, the person that raised you is not going to be doing anything compared to the wife that's going to make the decision.
I
So,
think in that situation, for me, my children come first, always. My
okay,
kid
that's
is going to come
valid.
before anybody. And then I think, genuinely, so backstory slightly. I grew up, of course, like, with two sides of my family, because I have my parents, and I mean, I have my mother and my father. But in my family, it's not like two sides. Like, my paternal side and my maternal side are so close. Like, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, when
Oh,
my grandmother
period.
passed, my grandfather, of course, he was widowed, but my maternal grandmother passed, so my paternal grandmother started calling my grandfather every day, checking on him, because she had lost her husband too. So,
Oh,
like, they're close, but they're close like brother and sister. They're not close like
even.
doing anything weird. So, like, I've always grown up with that strong family, those strong family ties. So for me, I think if your family structure is strong enough, you don't have to choose. There is no who comes first, who comes second. Nobody comes in any place. We're a family, we're cohesive, we're a tree. We're all branched
all
together.
together.
We're all intertwined. We all have our roots in the same soil.
I
So,
think you got blessed, girl, because I don't know too many to be got that same
hello,
story.
blessed and highly favored. So, for me, this conversation doesn't even really click because, of course, my kids are gonna come first. But once I branch out and I build my family should know we got to take a step back. This should be an unspoken rule, and if it has to be
Mm,
spoken, that boundary will be set. But I've built my own foundation. I've built my own family. This is my priority now.
right.
Like, y'all have raised me. Y'all have done the best you could, and you've raised me to be a good woman. To even branch out and start a family, take a step back, and I shouldn't have to tell you that. If the family is close knit enough, before I ever get married, I want my husband or my fiance to be close enough to my family where that's not an issue. It's a non-factor because y'all already know where I stand.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
I definitely agree, and that is good. Like, to have that close knit
Hmm.
family on both sides, because sometimes being in a relationship, your sister might not like your boyfriend, or your cousin might not like him, and then that causes drama in the
Division.
family. Yeah, that causes division, and then it's like me. I'm like, I want my significant other to be close with my family just as
Hmm.
I am. So it's like, if my family don't get along with him, or don't like him, or something, that is a decision and conversation that
That needs to be
you know,
had.
how in some relationships you have to have that uncomfortable conversation. Like,
Yeah.
you need to tell the truth, and just be open and have that vulnerable conversation with either your family or your significant other.
Now, one thing I feel like a lot of times when your family or your friends doesn't like your significant other, it comes from you. I feel like we have a tendency to tell, oh, well, he did this, well, he did that, and blah, 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 but you never go back and be like, okay, he apologized. All right, he brought me, he
Or
ran.
they be doing stupid stuff and you just go back to them.
If
You
you're
think I'm
drinking,
supposed
if
to
you're
forgive
drinking the dumb juice, you're drinking the dumb juice, and that's on you.
them?
But if he's a good man and you're only telling when y'all are having trials and tribulations, they're
Yeah,
never gonna know when you
they
came
gonna
out of the storm. So they're
Right.
gonna think that you're just going through bad things one after the other, but you're never telling how, okay, it was actually just miscommunication. Okay,
Yeah.
actually, we just didn't see each other's point of view. We didn't see eye to eye. He made it up. He brought me lunch to work. He brought me flowers. You don't ever tell all of that. So of course they're not gonna like your significant other. Like,
yeah,
that's where boundaries also come in. Sometimes, like, one thing about me and my boyfriend, we've been friends for 4 years. We have never gotten into an argument.
Huh?
Not once. We've never gotten into an argument. We have disagreements where it's like, I'm not seeing your point, I'm not seeing your point. We've never yelled at each other, never raised our voice, never.
Amen. Girl, I need to go where you at,
Hey,
okay?
hello,
Because
we have a
I
good
come from people that be arguing, fussing, and cussing, shutting
we
doors,
have
and that's why I don't like
and
them.
I mean, in 4 years, and as close as we were, you would expect, like, even in our friendship, okay, have y'all never, not once. But that's because there can be miscommunication, but there will be no adversary. We look at things as me and you versus the problem, and not me versus you,
Dang, y'all are
no
healthy
matter what
alone.
happens.
that.
And so when we have disagreements, most people don't even know that we were in a tizzy or having whatever, because I'm not going and running and telling everybody,
Right.
because I might not remember to tell them that we made up. Like,
Right.
so just to
Or
eradicate
they gonna be on your side looking at him dirty. Yeah.
thinking that he's in the wrong, and that's not even necessary. Sometimes, and a lot of times, it's not a right or wrong.
Right.
Sometimes it's a, we just don't agree on
Don't
this.
agree exactly. Everybody has their own opinion. I can't
Hmm.
I can't make you think the same way I'm thinking, or like what I like. So I
And
definitely
that's okay. That makes us different. That's what gives us, a fun dynamic. I like that we're not the same.
exactly.
I'm learning from you, you're learning from me.
Right. And that's how a relationship should be. Okay, so speaking of relationships, the show is coming to an end. And
Mhm.
I feel like this was a really, really, really great conversation.
Definitely.
Um, yeah, and I feel like a lot of people don't have these type of conversations anymore because everybody want to do the same thing or be the same way based on society, what society think, or how, you know, social media look at people or whatever. But I think conversations like this is definitely great to be had. And like I said, speaking of relationships, we always want to offer you a relationship with God. So to me, having a relationship with God is the highest relationship and the best relationship that you could have. So in Romans 10:9, it says, if you openly declare that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. So having that type of relationship with God is the best relationship that you can have. You may can't see him, but he hears you. He's there by your side every step of the way, everywhere you go. He's a way maker and he will see you through any situation. If you just talk to him, spend that alone time with God, and any other relationship in your life will pan out exactly how God sees it to be panned out. So, yeah, just get a relationship with God. And that is the end of our show. Destiny or Kenya, do you guys have anything else that you would like to say?
Just thanks for inviting me on. It was a good conversation. I appreciate it.
And on my shirt, Mary J. Blige said, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to shed no tears. It's not the time because you're not worth my. Y'all, come on. We is not doing it.
Don't let a relationship make or break you. Be very solid in your own personal foundation before you jump into anything with anybody.
Amen.
Exactly.
That's my
I agree. And then boundaries. Set boundaries. Your
with everybody.
yeah, your family relationships, your friend relationships, and your intimate romantic relationships. Boundaries is what will carry relationships through.
Hmm.
All right. Well, I would like to thank you guys for joining the Young and Bold segment with Elevation Global Media Group. And if you would like to be a guest on our show, or if you have a topic that you would like us, young and bold people, to discuss, then give us a call or send us an email. Follow us on social media, elevationglobalmediagroup.com, and we will try to get to every topic. So catch us here every fourth Monday of the month, and have a nice day.